Thank you so much, Jim. And I want to say thank you so much to Speakers Coalition for inviting me to share with you a little bit about what turning our messes into successes actually means in a world like ours. So let me start by asking a question. How many of us, or how many of you would raise your hand if I asked you if you feel any stress? Anybody feel any stress? Well, I'm giggling because so many times we feel like we are alone. And the truth is we're not. We are actually in what I call an interesting time in our lives, because we're actually, more than ever, I think we are actually at a critical mass point where we are actually more together than we are separate. And it doesn't always happen beautifully. It doesn't always happen effortlessly. In fact, what I've learned, and a lot of the people that I feel privileged and gifted to live life with, I've learned have similar stories where their messes were actually what gave them and provided them the most success. So a couple people that I wanted to illustrate that and ask if anyone's heard of Michael Jordan. Did anyone ever hear about Michael Jordan's story and how he was actually thrown off of his basketball team in high school? A lot of people didn't know that. And what's beautiful about his story is that he is now one of the most successful, not just basketball players, but athletes. He's known as one of the most successful athletes in all of history. Another example is Walt Disney. Many people might not know that Walt Disney was criticized and also ridiculed. A lot of his teachers, in fact, told him that he was dumb and that he wouldn't amount to anything. And now we have not only Disney World, but we have Disneyland, we have stores, we have merchandise, we have themed groups and events and even businesses that are all surrounded around Walt Disney and his concept of a place that was not yet built. Yet he had the fortitude and he had the insight to be able to see what was possible. He also, as far as I'd learned, he had filed bankruptcy at least once. He had lost lots and lots of not just money, but also relationships, and suffered, and he went through a very dark time in his life. Another person that is known to have had some messes, Oprah Winfrey, a powerful woman in history who was told that she would never amount to anything. In fact, was told she wasn't fit to be on TV. Look at her now. One of the most successful and probably powerful women in all of the world. Another example is Albert Einstein. I love to reference Albert Einstein because he was coined, and many people know or perhaps have heard of this, which is he when asked how did it feel to fail 1,000 times, he said he never failed. He just learned 1,000 different ways to do it. And that was regarding the light bulb. So example after example of people that fell forward. And so what I want to emphasize today is just this reminder that if we're not failing, we're not trying hard enough. And there's a saying that failing forward, which is all about leading with intention, leading with heart, and leading with purpose, right? And stepping back into my own experience for a moment, I can share with you not too long ago, actually, just in the last couple of years, I myself have gone through quite a bit with my family. And I was actually planning to have a slideshow today. And then I thought, you know what, I'd rather just connect without the slideshow. And I love visuals. I'm a very visual person, but I also like sharing stories, and I like expressing through dialogue. And so I wanted to share with you today a little bit about my own personal story of turning my messes into successes. And when I think about my life growing up and how I was raised by two immigrant parents who came from Russia and didn't speak English very well, and they didn't have very much money, and believe it or not, they still don't, but they work really hard and they do their very best. And my mom, who's now 75, and my dad, who is also 75, have lived a very determined life, and I'm very proud of them, and I'm very proud to be their daughter. My mom last year was going through chemo, and we didn't know how much time she would have, and this was the second time that she was faced with cancer. And at that same time, a month after she was diagnosed and started chemo, we found a mass the size of a lemon in my dad's brain, and he was given 6 months to live. And needless to say, life was hard. Life was really hard last year. And as a family, we didn't know what we would do. And there was times we didn't know if we could pay the rent, or not the rent, but our business rent. We didn't know if we would be able to pay for the mortgage and have a roof over our head. I ended up moving back in with my family to help them. And not only is my mom, knock on wood, healthy and strong, I like to say that my mom has 11 lives. She's like a cat, but with extra lives because she keeps coming back. And my dad is doing wonderful. He was operated on, and he's doing better than he was before. He is a very, very thriving man. He's a happy man. He's the dad that I remember, and even better. A couple of things have changed a little bit. Some, treatment, and I guess I would say some situations as a result of the surgery. But, the beauty of life is that when hard times happen, we can become stronger. And when we're able and willing to see that those messes, whether they are instituted upon us or we attract them, right? I do believe in the law of attraction. And I think that we are very powerful beings. We're very powerful humans. And so I feel that it's our responsibility to find the peace within our hearts and find the joy within our spirits to be able to continue even when things are hard, and especially when things are hard, because that's when we really need that extra encouragement and that extra support. And so, I share with you from a very humble place that those dark times of suffering and feeling hopeless and feeling like, what are we going to do, right? What am I going to do, right? How am I going to help my parents? How am I going to live my own life and, have a thriving career of my own and a family one day of my own if I can't even help my own family, right? So maybe you're listening, or maybe you're watching, and maybe you're asking yourself these questions, especially with the times the way they are right now. The landscape looks quite different than maybe we're used to. And what I want to emphasize and just remind us all is that what we do have is we have our breath. And we have this moment. And nothing is guaranteed. We don't come into life with a crystal ball knowing what our lives are going to look like. And many of us who have goals and are ambitious, we like to think that we can control it all. And in reality, sometimes the messes are inevitable. So instead of asking yourself, why me? Maybe ask yourself, why not me? Why not be the most amazing, abundant, beautiful, handsome, successful, powerful you that you can be? Leaning on support of conscious-minded and like-minded people. For example, the Speakers Coalition, bringing people together that are supportive and kind and compassionate, and really working with people, coaches, friends, mentors, and family that support you and want to see you in the highest light possible. And so I feel very honored that I get to do this. I get to share my message and my messes, because now my messes have become my successes. And I'm super, super grateful for that. So again, thank you so much. I want to thank Speakers Coalition for having me. And I love this work. I love platforms to be able to share. And, if we can all embrace the messes with a little bit more grace and have gratitude and ask ourselves, what is this here for? What is this experience here to teach me? Then I guarantee you we'll also be able to find the success and the opportunities to grow from those experiences. So Thank you so much for having me. And the best way to reach me, thank you, Jim. The best way to reach me is actually by texting the word yoga to 64600. And you can also reach me online at Internal Peace, Peace, now.com. That's internalpeacenow.com, or you can text the word yoga to 64600. Thanks so much.